right, let's start with everything I love and everything I hate about Crew Motorfest so far. I'm curious about the hates.
I want to take you through the things that I really love about the game first, because I feel like if I go through the hate stuff first, a lot of you guys are going to be clicking off the video, because this is a very, very loved game in the community, and I totally understand why. But that's not to say there aren't some things that can be changed.
I can think of one main thing,
you know, that we can say that we don't like. Anyway, let's get into it, dude. These are the things that I absolutely love about this game.
Before he says his, I want to say mine. My thing about it that I don't like is the controller to steering input lag. You turn left, it feels like there's a quarter second or half a second where your steering input lags. It's in Crew 2 as well, and yeah, I think it just got brought to Motorfest. So let's see if he mentions that.
The first thing is the mailbox itself is in the menu. Now, if you don't remember, the Crew 2 had a container, which was your mailbox, and that's where you received all of your parts drops when your parts inventory was full. You'd have to go to, let's say, the street headquarters and then empty that mailbox there. So you had to physically go or physically fast travel over to that mailbox. Now in the Crew Motorfest, you can just open up your menu, you can go to driver and then go to mailbox, and everything is right there. You can delete things from that screen, or you can grab them and put them in your inventory.
And your mailbox would always be full.
It makes it so much easier because you can just go back to your vehicle inventory, delete things out of there so you have space, and then go back into that mailbox and grab it out of there. So I really like that. It's a very nice change. It should have been that way from the beginning. Next thing I love is the character detail. Now, I'm not talking about the customization options, because I feel like those are a little bit lacking, especially the hair. There's just like no regular guy hairstyles for me. But the character detail, like the actual physical detail in the hands, in the hand motions on the cockpit view, in the skin, and the just like overall,
take a look at the elbows. They look really creepy and weird, guys. If you haven't seen their elbows,
are a lot more natural than a lot of different games. So I really appreciate that little detail. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with racing. It definitely made my love list. And speaking of the cockpit view, it is so much improved. I mean, the hand motions alone are just incredible compared to the Crew 2. The Crew 2 had very stiff hands. There wasn't a lot of steering wheel motion, and it kind of felt weird because it was like you were turning the car, but the wheel wasn't turning. In this game, the wheel turns when you turn the car, and it feels like it's connected. It feels like it's actually doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing in real life.
I hadn't checked out
first person that much. The sheer variety of things to do. You've got weekly summits. You've got grand races, which are 28-player races. You've got Demolition Royale, which is a battle royale in demolition mode. You've got a custom show where you can customize your car and enter it in a show and see who gets voted the top dog.
I love that feature.
15 different playlists, each with a different driving style, and I'm not even joking about this. There are not that many disciplines in this game, but within the playlists, you're actually feeling like you're driving different disciplines. Like you could be driving a Street 2 car, but then you drive a different Street 2 car in a different playlist, and it has a completely different theme and a completely different feel. So the events were designed very, very nicely, and 15 is a lot of playlists. There's over 110 races or over 110 different events through these playlists. So bravo to them. They actually provided a very wide variety of things to do in the game, and I'm going to be grinding this for a long time. So that definitely makes the love list. And speaking of the grand races are absolutely the most fun thing to do in the game.
They're really good.
It's insane how much fun you can have with a 28-player race. Now, on the flip side, they're also the most frustrating thing to do because so many people don't know how to race, and you put a bunch of people in that same atmosphere, in the same area, and then we all just run into each other like crazy. So it's just chaotic, but at the same time, that chaos creates a lot of fun and a lot of weird moments.
Frustration too.
And so I really love the grand races. It's a very nice addition to the game, and I think that's really where the end game is going to be with this game. It's going to be a combination of the grand races and the summit. The next thing I love are the car sounds. These sounds in this game sound so good. I want to say the word sounds so many more times. It is so unbelievably good compared to anything else that's out there right now in terms of racing games, and that's honestly incredible to say. I'll be honest though, I don't play a lot of sim games, so I will say that if you're a sim fan out there and you know there's a game out there that does a lot with the car sounds, I apologize. But in terms of arcade racing, this is by far the
Sounds
best
really good.
sounding game in terms of car sounds. It's just so good. This next one is sort of a small feature. It's just a setting. It's the ability to switch the hold to a tap on your buttons. So like anytime you're in a menu and you want to like say delete a part out of your inventory, you have to hold the button down until it deletes, and then you can go to the next part and hold the button down until it deletes. You can switch that setting in the menu. You go into your accessibility menu, and then you switch the hold button to tap option, and it makes your life so much easier. I don't know why they have the hold button. Maybe if you want to change your mind, you can let go. So be careful. If you do tap it once you've switched the setting, you will just tap it and delete a part. The next thing I love about this game are the leaderboards. There are tons of leaderboards. There's like a leaderboard for everything. Every single event in the game has different leaderboards. You've got leaderboards for that race itself, for the required car that you use in the playlist. And then you've got a custom leaderboard where you can use literally any car and see who can go the fastest. That means you can use an Alpha GP car on a street race, or a street car on a hypercar race, or I mean, you can't use cars in boat races, but you get the picture. And there's a leaderboard for that. Not only that, but you can sort the leaderboard by your platform, your friends, or the global leaderboard. So this game really thought of everything when it comes to leaderboards, and I absolutely appreciate that a lot. This definitely goes on the love list. Next up is the ability to cross save, but also cross play. So what that means is you can play with your friends who are on PS4, but you can also start the game on your PC. And if you want to switch over to your PS4, let's say your PC is in your office and your PS4 is in your living room, and you want a more comfortable experience, you can be progressing and grinding in your office on your PC, and then just go over to your PS4 and switch over, as long as your Ubisoft account is the same for both your PlayStation and your PC. And then going back to the races, I spoke a little bit about this with the leaderboards just a second ago, but there's a custom mode. You can change the weather and the time of day. You can change the car you're using. You can literally select any car in your entire inventory to use on that race, even if that car is not necessarily that same vehicle class, which is amazing. And you can actually invite your friends to those races as well. So that's sort of your custom sort of private mode that works for literally every race in all of the playlists. And in addition to that, some of the playlist races have modifiers. For example, one of the modifiers within the Porsche 911 playlist is that you have to drive clean. And if you throw on one of those modifiers, meaning there's going to be extra cones and things that you can't hit, you can't touch other players, can't run into walls, the cleaner you drive, the more money you can make. So you can actually change the way the game is played in order to make more money at certain events. It's actually great. It's brilliant. Now, I'm sure as I continue to play this game, the love list is going to continue to grow, but I do have to show you some of the things that I just really despise about this game. I will say though that these are all fairly small issues. I mean, I don't think that there's anything that's like game breaking. Overall, what is it then? I freaking love the game, and I can't wait to play it every minute of the day. I want to go back and play. So don't take these too hard. But the controller thing, remember, guys? Hate. The first thing is what I'll call double stuff. So basically the game makes you do things twice for some reason, and I'm not talking about events. I'm talking about like pressing a menu button twice to get to the menu. Yeah, it sounds stupid, but basically to open your menu, you have to press the menu button, and then it automatically puts you on the profile screen. And in order to get to the sidebar menu, you have to again press the menu button. Like if I just want to open up the settings, I just want to press the menu button. It's a minor annoyance. Already be selected on that because you don't, so that I can go down to settings and change something. First time it's really annoying to find it. Let me put it that way. I don't want to click the menu button and then have to click the menu button again to get to that. And it's not the only place. There's multiple versions of that. On that, and then allow me to select one of those things. Or if I just press right on the D-pad, it goes into the profile screen. So just a little bit of like UI business right there. In addition to that, you have to like go to the playlist container in order to unlock the playlist. And that was all annoying too. Travel point, but like the container itself is not really good for anything once you complete the playlist. So I'm not really sure why that mechanic exists. Also, the very first race of the playlist is never necessarily in that location where the container is. So you have to drive to the container to unlock the playlist and watch a cutscene, and then you have to drive to the first race, which is not in that location. It just feels like a lot of double things are happening. I thought I missed something at that. I didn't realize it's just like that for everyone. You can't view the entire map. This bugs me so much. I want to be able to zoom out and view the entire map. Why can't we do this? I have no idea. But it takes forever if you want to get to the top of the map. You just can't travel that fast, even if you're all the way zoomed out. So I don't know. In the interest of saving time, and also just because I don't know, I'm just like that.
The
I
map is
want to be able to see
really
the entire
big. You
map.
can only
Next
see
on the
like
list
a
is you get a
eighth of it.
starter car, but then you don't use it on any of the playlists, which is basically your campaign, for lack of a better word. So like, why are we getting a starter car? It doesn't make a lot of sense. You're using loaned vehicles in every single race of every playlist, unless you finish that playlist and then you go back and do a custom race. You have to use the loaned car. It's a very specific experience that they've tailored, and I totally understand that. But then why do we have some sort of starter car? I guess it's just to like get around the map with. And then the rewards that you get from the playlist go to your starter car, but like not always, because it depends on which event type you're in. I don't know, it just seems a little bit weird that we have a starter car but we don't use it in any of the events. I want to be able to use my own cars. There should maybe be an option to use your own car or use the loan vehicle.
It's a free
Another thing I hate is the random AI race traffic. Now I'm not talking about in the race. I'm talking about when you're just like driving around in free roam. There's like these random races that come at you all of a sudden when you're turning a corner, and there's like 15 cars that come flying by you. Now they're all ghosts, and that's fine, so they don't run into you or ruin your path, but there's also traffic cars. So
you can't tell the
there's
difference.
the race cars that are ghosts, and then there's regular traffic cars that you can't hit. And sometimes from a distance you can't tell which one is which, and so you're dodging the cars that are ghosts, and you think a car is a ghost and then you just run straight into it.
I've done that so many times. It was so
just
annoying.
Seems weird. There's no difference between those, and honestly those cars are there to just make the world feel more alive, and it doesn't need it. Just put regular traffic in there that I can't run into and call it a day. Next up on the hate list,
I like it. I like seeing the ghost. I wish I could tell if it's a ghost or a real car though.
Has to be adjusted, and I don't think it's going to be. The Crew 2 was the same way. You could only invite 3 of your friends. Need for Speed did the same thing with Unbound, and it's terrible. And now Motorfest has done the same thing with a 4-player crew limit.
Save zone server.
Horrible. Guys, we need at least 8 players. It would be nice to have 16, but I would settle with 8. And speaking about playing with friends, this one really bugs me. This is one of the hate things that I absolutely hate. It's probably my least favorite thing about the game. You can't progress your playlist together with friends. This is huge, guys. You have to be able to do this, and you can't in this game. If you are in a crew with a friend and you go to do your playlist, whoever the leader of that party is, that person will progress the playlist. The other person just gets the money for doing the event, but their playlist doesn't get any progress.
Crew 2 wasn't like that.
You can't even be in a crew with someone and do it individually. Like if you guys are in the same crew, the same lobby, and one of you launches the playlist race because you want to progress your playlist, the other person has to accept or decline. If they decline, it cancels the event altogether and no one can do it. So in order to progress your playlist, you have to be completely solo. You can't be in a crew. It just seems really, really stupid. I want to be able to play this stuff with my friends. And then lastly on the hate list, and this is just such a weird one, but the plane handling is so different. The physics of the planes are just so different from the Crew 2, and personally I just don't like it. They tried to make it more simple, where you like turn left and then the plane will like bank on its own and turn left for you. I just don't like that. I liked the system of being able to adjust the plane on all 3 axes, instead of this, which kind of adjusts it for you.
You can turn it off in
turned off all the assists for the planes, and it feels better to me, but
I don't like it either.
Not great.
I don't like it either, but Crew 2 used to be way worse. And now in the settings, you can go and turn off the auto flight, whatever it's called, where it locks on your plane to a certain angle. Yeah, you can turn that off. And in Crew 2, it used to be so much worse. I agree with him. I don't like it, but this one has it better.
I'm not a fan. Now, before I end the video, I know you guys are just like ready to click off, but before I end the video, there's a few things that I don't like about the game, but I think are fixable, and that is a lot of frame rate drops. I'm experiencing a lot on PC, and I'm running a 3090 GPU with an i9 processor, so it's not like my computer is just having an issue. It's a very capable machine to run this game on, so frame rate drops are an issue. I actually had to downgrade the visuals for all of the environment all the way to low. I kept everything else on ultra, and that seems to have fixed it a little bit, but I still think the frame rate drops are an issue, and I think they'll probably fix that with updates going forward. The next is the driving line, the navigation line.
I don't like it.
It's super wonky on like a bunch of different races. It tells you to go like, it'll tell you to go up a hill, or you know, it'll tell you to go over a wall or whatever. I mean, it's just like really wonky. I don't think they had a lot of time to like test every single thing. And then along the lines of like connecting with friends, it's really sort of hit or miss. Sometimes it's very easy you know, with the snap of a finger, your friends are in your crew and it's not an issue. But sometimes it just like really gives you an issue. Like it won't
Crew 2 used
connect
to be like this
to your
too.
friends, and so then they have to invite you instead of you inviting them.
This
It
is
just
the
seems
same
like they
exact
can really
problem
make
we had on Crew
improvements
2,
in that
guys.
section.
Same
And then the
exact
last
problem.
thing is the map size. This is something I've talked about in previous videos. The map is just too small for a game that's this big. You end up driving on the same roads a lot. That being said, it doesn't necessarily feel small. It's not like you're driving around and like, man, this map is really small. It's just smaller than what we're used to in the Crew 2. So you can take that however you want, and this is something they can definitely fix with updates. There's plenty of Hawaiian islands that they can use for future content, future stories, future playlists, whatever you want to call it, and expand this map. So it's something
Hawaii
they can
has
fix.
like 5 or
I'm
6
not too
main
worried about it
highways,
at
and I
this
think they
moment in
just
time,
copied
but
it.
it is
Or
smaller
made it
than the Crew
similar.
2. I really enjoyed being able to just drive from New York all the way to San Francisco. So anyway, the map size is an issue, but that's it, man. This is sort of my first impressions video, and I appreciate you guys watching. It's kind of crazy how good this game is compared to other games in the market right now, particularly Need for Speed. I'm a huge Need for Speed fan, and I love what Need for Speed gives us, but it's just lacking compared to this game. So overall, very positive experience. Keep your eyes on the channel though, because I'm going to be doing a very detailed, long
Crew 2 is really fun. Guys, go check out the Malaysia gaming community. I've known about them for a while. I've watched their videos before, so I figured you guys might enjoy it. Go give them a love and subscribe. I agree with some of the things he said. He didn't address the latency for the steering. Going from games to Crew 2 or Motorfest, I swear to God, it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to just get used to the latency. I have to do the actions about a quarter of a second before I want them to happen. Maybe a little less, but something noticeable for me. But besides that, he's right on everything. The game is beautiful too. I wish I could adjust the daytime when I'm driving around and cruising. You know, like GTA doesn't have a daytime adjust. Sometimes you just want it to be day, noon all the time. I like it when it's noon all the time. Beautiful blue sky with white clouds. It just cheers me up when I race in a bright day, you know. So besides that, you can do it in the missions. That's the new. So I want to do a really long 4-hour stream of Crew 2. Let me know, should I play Crew 2 or Mortal Kombat? Oh my god, my mind just went numb there. Or Mortal Kombat, guys. Let me know. But that was awesome.